Hi everyone. I'm hoping I'm very serviceable. I'm hoping that I'm very audible. Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. Thank you everyone for joining. Okay, so I'm going to be holding on for a few seconds, hoping that a lot more people join us very, very soon. Our guest speaker is already here, and I'm very, very excited. So I want to also apologize for my voice. You're going to be hearing me do that from time to time because it looks like I have something going on somewhere in my throat. So I'm hoping that I am very, very audible. So good evening, everyone. My name is Dorcas, and I'm here today to bring you very, very, very amazing stuff. And I won't be doing this alone. Like I mentioned, our guest speaker is here waiting. I think for the purpose of this live chat, I'm going to be calling her a powerhouse because actually I think that is what, it's not I think, I know that is what she is. She's actually a powerhouse when it comes to personal branding, and we cannot wait to share all of the knowledge, all of the learnings with you all. So as soon as you join us this evening, make sure you go and share the link with your friends, somebody you know that has been having issues. When I say issues, I don't mean issues, but someone that might have been struggling a bit with anything around showing up online, generally in digital space, right? So you should share this link with that person. And also, as you are joining us, welcome. I can see Modupe Olapeju here. Welcome and thank you for joining. I can see Bubu Zima. Thank you for joining. Precious Teresa, my boss. Thank you for joining early. So please share this link with your friends, partners, family members. So I'm just going to say one or two things about the host organization, which is Mindtree Business Solutions, just in case you're hearing about us for the first time, right? Yes, before I go ahead, please let us know where you're joining us from. You're joining us from Lagos, you're joining us. Okay, I don't want to limit it to Nigeria because, of course, I guess Fika is not. Alright, so just let us know where you're joining from so that we would also know if there are key things we should talk about, regarding the region which you're joining us from. Yes, so Mindtree Business Solutions, you are a business development agency, and we offer services like advisory, key business advisory, of course, and digital marketing services, which is where this core branding falls under. So let me just add our guest speaker right about now. Okay. Please share the link to your friends, to your family members, of course. Okay, she's here. Good evening.
Hi. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Great.
It's good to see you this evening.
Good to see you too. How have you been?
Yes. I want to say thank God it's Friday, right?
I
Thank God it's Friday.
Thank
Yes,
God it's
yes, yes, yes.
Friday.
So we're excited to be here. And just before we start, I am going to be introducing our guest speaker. Like I mentioned before now, she's a powerhouse. She's an expert. So when she speaks, please do well to listen. And please feel free to also drop your questions while this is going on. And if you also have feedback, reviews for us, you can please also do that. Thank you, Sheyanu, for joining. Thank you. So I'm going to be reading our profile very shortly so we can jump right into it. So Diana said Sophia. I'm so sorry if I pronounce your surname wrong. Can you please do me the honors? Please pronounce it.
It's Sechofia. It's yes. Yes.
Sechofia. Wow.
Yes. Sechofia.
Then your surname?
Agbenyo.
Agbenyo. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to stick with Diana for now.
No, you have to
Okay.
try to write my name, I insist.
Wow, that's a serious task. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So Diana is a marketing and branding expert with over 10 years of experience helping unconventional leaders build authentic, influential brands with authority. She specializes in digital marketing, market strategy, and customer engagement, and our work centers on empowering leaders to craft genuine narratives that resonate and create lasting impacts. With a background in development work, Diana has supported young professionals and entrepreneurs across Ghana in navigating competitive markets. In 2023, she founded Mosel Marketing, through which she has helped clients achieve over a 150K dollars in wins, amplifying both their influence and income. She's passionate about authenticity in branding, economic mobility, and sustainable growth. And our mission is simple but powerful: to make authenticity the cornerstone of every leadership journey. That alone speaks a lot of volume. So please, everyone, welcome with me, Diana, our guest speaker. Please let me see you clap in the comment section. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We really appreciate you doing this with us. So, without wasting much time, I'm just going to go right into this conversation. So, for everyone that has joined us so far, thank you so much for joining. This is meant to be a conversation that would answer a lot of questions about personal branding, how to position yourself. This is not majorly for business brands. It's for you, like you, personal branding for you. How do I put myself out there? That question will be answered tonight. Oh, how do I ensure that um, I'm not over some people say I'm overhyping myself online. Oh, I'm doing this. The version of me online is not the me that everybody knows. A lot of those questions will be answered tonight. So make sure that you share this link with someone that needs to hear all of this. And we're going to go right into it. So my first question for you tonight, Diana, is that when you say personal branding, right? I think that you would find conversations about it everywhere, like in recent times versus the way it was, say, 5 years ago or 5 years ago, right? So there are a lot of narratives, there are a lot of perspectives about what personal branding actually means. So to you specifically, what is personal branding?
Yeah. Good evening, wherever you're joining from in the world. I'm really excited to be here. And thank you, Mindshit, for the invitation. Whenever I explain personal branding to people, I describe it as a piece of you that lives in people's hearts and minds rent free. So think of it like real estate, right? You remember different people across your life. It can be colleagues, it can be church mates, it can be friends, it can be whoever. Whenever that person's name pops up, you remember something about them, right? Those memories you have is their real estate in your mind and in your heart. So if it was one colleague who used to stress you at work, who didn't like you at work, whenever they come to mind, whatever memories you have of them and how you feel about them, that is their personal brand to you. And
Oh,
so, for other people who may be interacting with you, when we talk about personal brand in your own aspect as a young professional or a senior executive, it's the reverse of that. What do people feel and think when you come to mind? And you occupy that space by virtue of the memory you've left on them in their minds. So you're literally living in people's minds rent free. You're not paying rent for them having those memories or those impressions about you in their mind. So that's how I like to describe personal branding. Now the conversation around, okay, so now if I have this real estate, you can think of it as literally a real estate in people's hearts and minds. What do you want to do with that space? You're already occupying space in people's minds and hearts. What do you want to do with that space? And that's when the other conversations we will be talking about this evening also come to play. But that's how I simply describe personal brand. Yeah.
I think that's the simplest definition that I've actually
Yes.
heard about personal branding. I don't think I can forget this. What comes to people's mind when they remember you or when they think of you? Wow,
Yes. Yes.
fantastic. Very, very
Yeah.
fantastic. So, building on that question,
Mm-hmm.
right? I'm sure everyone here wants to know, why is there a fuss around personal branding? Why is everybody screaming, you must have a presence online, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on Facebook, on this, on that? Why can't we just not care about those things? Why why personal branding? Why is it so important, especially for professionals, founders, maybe core executives? Why is there a need in this current century, right, for personal branding?
Yeah. That's actually a very good question, and I'll tell you a quick story. The When I was younger and I was in senior high school, whenever I would come back from vacation, that was when Facebook was a big thing. I can speak for Ghana. I don't know what it was like back then
Yeah.
in Nigeria. But Facebook used to be a very big thing. And as a teenager, whenever I come on vacation and I have access to my phone, I'll be scrolling through, having conversations with my friends and things like that. And then one day I was just scrolling online and my elder sister had posted something and I saw like comments and people liking, and I was looking at the people commenting, like I was watching their names. And these were at the time very influential people. And I'm like, how does my sister know these people? Like, where are you meeting these people from? Because both you and I, like, we live in the slum. So how are you getting to know? And
All these
it
people.
left a mark on me because I figured, well, by virtue of just this platform, my sister is interacting with these people. They are commenting, they are engaging. I'm like, what's happening here?
Mm,
But I made it a point to myself that I was going to change the friend list I have so that I too can have influential people on my
yeah.
list. And so for the months afterwards, I would send these people friendly and friend requests, and they
First.
would accept. Every time each one would accept, I'll be so surprised. Like, why? Like, you're accepting my friend request? Like, we're talking about big names in Ghana and abroad, yes?
Mm,
And these are people who are very vocal. And so when I was navigating, I mean, I left senior high school, went to uni. I still had this friend list, and I started different projects in my community. I saw how these people came to rally and then donate books, show up to even paint the libraries that I was
wow.
renovating at the time. And at the time, I didn't take my personal branding seriously. It was not even a thing I thought about. But a couple of months ago, I was reflecting on those times and I was asking myself, why were these people so passionate about supporting me or wanting to even accept my friend request?
Yeah.
And now that I look at it, I saw it as, first off, I was building or I was leveraging the credibility and influence of my elder sister. So it became like, oh, because you are related to this person, it should be easy to accept your friend request or even to
Yeah.
trust you, right? And same as because I was running these other projects, it was giving more people reason to see me for who I am. Like, oh, actually, I'm a reasonable human being. I am passionate about my community. I'm doing good. I'm doing good things
Yeah.
in town, right? And then I was starting to build my own credibility. I didn't know any of this was personal branding until I started looking for jobs. And that was when I applied to jobs, people would look at my profiles, people would look at the things I had done months and years prior, and based on that, give me opportunities. At the time I was doing that, I wasn't looking for any opportunities. It didn't even come to mind that I would be considered for any opportunities.
Yeah.
But by just having that ambitious, flimsy excuse of I want to have influential people as my friend list, I was already building by association a personal brand, because if you are interacting with these kind of people, you just have to show up in a certain way,
Yeah.
right? Now, to answer your question, why is personal branding important? I say this story because when you're going through life, especially in your profession, you do the simple things. You apply for a job, you get it, you move on, you do your work, you get a few promotions here and there. But as you're growing, you get to realize it becomes a bit more competitive, especially if you want to navigate higher. You realize how it's no longer the work you can do, your execution. I mean, if you're younger, it's easier for people to trust you because you have energy,
Yeah.
you're so exuberant. Or give it to them, they'll do it. And when you do it, you have a few mentors here and there advocating for you. But as you go through your professional life, you realize you need more. And if you haven't been building your personal brand from the years prior, you realize that you'll be scrambling for ways to advocate for yourself. And that is why it's so important to, if not necessarily build your personal brand, start thinking about it so that you have it when you don't need it. And I hope in today's conversation, we can really think through, how do people interact with us? What do they say about us? And how are these things they're saying and thinking and feeling about us impacting or affecting the way they make decisions about us? And even worse, telling other people those same things and then affecting decisions that can help us. I mean, personal branding is not for everybody. I think it's very good to even say this at this stage of the conversation, that personal branding is not for everybody, but everybody needs to think through making that decision if it is for them or not. Because you can choose to say, no, I'm not going to do any of these things. I'm happy where I am. That's fine. But if you're somebody who's looking to explore more, do more, then you really want to know how, by engaging with people, you can do it strategically and have decisions work in your favor. And personal branding gives you the framework to do all of that. Yes.
Wow, wow, wow. When I said she's a powerhouse, I'm sure you're starting to believe me now. Just look at the story she just shared about her sister. I mean, it never even came across my mind. I'm sure most of us also didn't know that all the years of Facebook and to go and different social media platforms, right?
Yeah.
So I want to welcome people that just joined us very recently. Thank you, Sheyanu, for joining us. Thank you, Cogni099. Thank you, I am Tao7. Thank you, Uchena Design. Thank you, Elom. I can't pronounce that. Elom Delali. Right. So just let us know where you're joining us from, and also share how useful this is for you. Right. So my next question for Diana is that, just in case there's somebody watching this right now that, based off of your last statement about, oh, it's not for everybody, but if you're willing to explore, if you are willing to grow more, you should actually consider personal branding. So if there's somebody on this call that is thinking, okay, it looks like I'm totally new to this
Yeah.
I don't want to say to this experience, but I'm totally new to this whole personal branding thing. I'm not even a social media person. I have a lot
Mm.
of friends. I know a lot of people that will tell you that, see, this thing is not, I don't have strength for it. But what if there's somebody like that on this call that is choosing to now say this evening that, okay, let's see, if I want to start from the scratch, where
Yeah.
do I start from?
Mm. Yeah. Well, I see we are even people are watching us from Benin. That's really nice, really cool.
Oh, thank
Um,
you.
yes. That if you're looking to start personal branding based on the two things I have said
Mm.
so far, I want you to have first a mindset shift around it. So if you're somebody who says, "Oh, I'm not a social media person," or you say, "I don't know if I can be consistent," or "I don't think I want to be dancing online," the answer is you don't have to do any of that,
Right.
right? But it begins from a mindset shift. And the mindset shift is this, that as humans, right? And this is backed by science. As human beings, we tend to categorize things in a way that makes it easier for us to assimilate it and understand it. Okay. Let me give you an
Mm.
example. If you're Nigerian and you hear somebody with a Ghanaian accent, you already have your own ideas on who
Yes.
this person is.
Yes.
The, the person has not even confirmed that they are Ghanaian.
Yes.
You just hear that they have a Ghanaian
Accent.
accent, and you're already in your mind, okay, like, if they have a Ghanaian accent, they are most likely Ghanaian. They most likely love eating eggs.
Mm.
They most likely have something against Nigerian jollof. Like you already have a list of things that you
Yes.
have in your mind ready, right? Now that can be categorized as being biased, right?
Mm.
But bias is not good nor bad. It is just what it is. It's the way our brain works. Okay.
Mm.
And so if out of self-awareness, people use that biasness to make decisions, then we can say they are being discriminatory and all those bad things. But the point is, because human beings, we are made in this way. Whenever we see something or we hear something, our brain wants to quickly categorize, put a label on it, and get on with their
Yeah.
day. You really want to understand this for yourself and say
Mm.
that, okay, if this is how human beings operate, and I'm looking to work with human beings, I'm looking to impact human beings, I'm looking to speak to human beings, then maybe I should make it easier for them to
Mm.
understand where in their mind they can put me.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
the first point is having that mindset shift that, yeah, because I have a Ghanaian accent, they may be thinking XYZ. It might not be true. It might just be that the person is even a Cameroonian who was raised in Ghana. But because you've heard our accent, you are making those assumptions. It's in the
Mm.
same way you tell yourself, okay, I'm a Cameroonian and I have a Ghanaian accent. This is my story, right? I understand that this is how people are going to perceive me,
Yeah.
but I want to use that as an opportunity. And by using my personal brand, I can use that as an opportunity to impact them, to expand their minds about even making assumptions about people, whatever you want to do.
Mm.
So if you are looking to do that and you have that mindset shift, then we can go on to what else do you
Yeah.
do? So now that you've accepted that this is how people work, this is how people embrace and understand things, then you say, okay, well, how do I make it easier for them? Should I look at my appearance? Should I look at my behaviors?
Mm.
Should I look at the way I communicate? Should I look at the way I even deliver my work? And should I even look at how I interact with people or even nurture relationships? So
Mm.
when you have these frameworks, then you know exactly they become like buttons that you like to push and press whenever you're looking to achieve a particular purpose. So the framework I usually tell my clients is the ABCD or framework, right? It's A for appearance, B for behaviors, C for communication, D for delivery, or you can also call it execution. So in building your personal brand, you want to assess really if I'm stepping into a particular place, how should I be? Should I appear? If I'm looking to speak to a CEO, how should I appear? If I'm looking to speak to my colleague, how should I appear? If I'm looking to go to the market to just go buy things down the street, how do I appear, right? And then same for behaviors. In these same scenarios, what are the behaviors that are acceptable? What are the ones that are not acceptable? And how do I decide if I want to go with them or not go with them? And then communication is obviously by how you are engaging people, how you are interacting with them, your choice of words, your tonations, your charisma, and all the different things that come together into great communication. And execution is where all of these things come together. It's one thing to appear, you know how they say, if it quacks like a dog, if it quacks like a duck, then it is a duck, right?
Yes, yes.
It's one thing to quack like a duck, behave like a duck, communicate like a duck,
Hmm.
and then when they bring you to come and deliver the work as a duck, you're already behaving like what other,
It
like a
goes.
hawk. You see all of these things that you're portraying, and that's where the gap comes in. Like, we portray ourselves in these certain ways, especially online, that is not uniquely us, it is not authentically us, and we do it for so long that when people interact with ourselves, with us in person, then you see there's a breakage. That's when
Hmm.
the delivery and execution has come into question.
Yeah.
And so, if you're going to put work in all of these things, one, there has to be that mindset shift. Two, you have to embrace a framework
Hmm.
that leverages on your authenticity. And the third, obviously, is really embracing your authenticity along all these lines. Yes.
Wow. I'm
Yeah.
writing because all of these things, I can't miss them. I'm hoping that this is very useful to everyone that has joined us so far. So I want to know how this.
Yeah. And if it sorry, and if anyone is ready, they can tell us what they do and the kind of person they are. We can, if you're open, we can use you as an example to really show how you can build your personal
Right.
brand. That would be a great thing
Oh,
to do.
that would be very practical. So, just in
Yeah.
case you are here and you would like that, please tell us your name, tell us what you do, so that Diana can use, I would say use you as a practical, but yes, just
No, yeah,
around that line.
we can do a demonstration
A
with your personal brand.
demonstration.
Yes. Yeah.
Great. So please share. Yes. Please share. We're waiting to see someone give us
Yeah.
that response. So my next question for you, Diana, is that you mentioned authenticity, right? Which is very key because if you look around these days, you'd see a number of content out there that is very different from who a person is versus what the person looks like online, right?
Hmm.
So, what are the essential elements of a strong and authentic brand? When you see a brand that's authentic, or if you want to make your personal brand, say people are here that already even started, right, to build their personal brand, how do they make it really strong and how do they make it really authentic?
Yeah. The first thing about building your personal brand is the first principle is about accepting yourself as who you are. That is the foundation. So I've talked about all these different things and they're all coming
Yeah.
together for you in your mind, right? So you can already envision how much it would take in terms of
Hmm.
work to do this for a long period of time.
Time.
So if I ask you to watch your appearance, watch your behaviors, watch the way you communicate, watch the way you deliver or execute the things you work on, and I'm asking you to do that for the next 50 years, can
Okay.
you imagine
Hmm.
how long it would take for you to start getting tired of doing
Yeah.
that? I think if you're a good actress or a good actor, it should take you a few years to
Hmm.
continuously do that. But at some point, you come back to the same audience and be like, no, I'm
I
tired.
can't do this.
I'm the one who said I'm going to do this. But
Yes.
this is not the real me. It's self-suffocating. Yes. And that is where the concept of authenticity comes in. It would have been beautiful for this entire personal branding campaign all
Mm,
these years to have started with the authenticity conversation, because then it would have been so easier.
mm,
But now that people are realizing that actually, and to be honest, you can't blame us, because for people who have had brands and built big careers around their personal brands, they look a certain way, talk a
yes.
certain way, dress a certain way, make up a certain way, speak a certain way. So it's very easy to like I said, our brain, very easy. Okay, this is what it looks like. Let's just go with how it's done,
No.
because we want to be accepted in society, right? But if you're building your personal brand and you want to build a solid personal brand, you want to, right from the beginning of the journey, do it with your self acceptance. You have to accept yourself.
Mm,
You have to learn to accept yourself. And it's not going to be a one-day journey. And even in your personal brand, you're going to learn new things about yourself, on even adopting your personal style of speaking,
mm,
adopting your personal style of working on projects, adopting your own personal style of connecting with people.
people.
And then you realize that, okay, after you're uncomfortable for the first couple of months, because you're
Mm-hmm.
unlearning those learned behaviors, you realize that
Yes.
you tend to like things about yourself. One thing about me is, I'll use myself as an example. When I started taking my personal brand seriously, there were some things that I didn't understand. I've always been somebody who questioned things.
Mm.
So I would ask myself, I don't like to make up my face the way people make up. Like,
Yeah.
it's beautiful. I love the way it looks. And I've tried it a couple of times,
Yeah.
but it doesn't feel like me.
Yes.
So what I decided to do was, you know what, maybe I should show people my actual face a lot more, so that when they see me in
Mm.
makeup, then they realize, oh, okay, those are the special days. Don't
Yeah.
don't get used to me in makeup. It's not the next time you're not coming to be expecting makeup and be crying that
Mm.
I didn't give you makeup. That's one way you're embedding authenticity in your personal brand.
Right.
The second
Right.
way is even how you interact with people. If you're an introvert, you don't have to be extroverted to build your personal brand. You have to accept that I'm not that person. So if I enjoy one-on-one conversations, is that what I'm going to build on to interact with people? And then, yeah, obviously, the other things will come in. In building your personal brand, there are two main ways. After you've accepted yourself, the next thing is asking, okay, where do I interact with people? You most likely in today's age interact with people in two in two places, in through
Yes.
physical interactions
Correction.
and online. So when you start auditing yourself, you're like, oh, what are some of those awkward things I do that people have told me they don't understand when I do those things? Like, okay, you write it down. Or what's one feedback I've constantly received? Then you write it down. I'll tell you one of the feedbacks I've received. I am very socially awkward. If you meet me in person, I just want to sit in one corner and speak to one person at a time. And so when I go for events, by by the time I've spoken to the second person, I'm tired.
Exist.
And I I didn't know this until it was something I started observing about myself. And then I start writing it down, like, okay, do I want to change this or do I want to continue? Right.
Mm.
And online, I realized that, okay, online, I actually enjoy interacting with people online, because I can speak to 6 or 7 people on this IG live without having to do it one person at a time in person. And so in those different spaces, how do I appear? How do I behave? How do I communicate? How do I deliver in a way that gives me the benefit of those platforms, right? So I've said 3 things. The first is
That's it.
self-acceptance. If you don't accept yourself, if you don't love yourself, if you don't agree with yourself, it's going to be difficult to do this for a long time. The second is audit. Audit yourself. What are some of the things that you feel could change? You could just polish them up a few times. And some of the things that you really love, you can build on that and even begin teaching people. about that, or even showing that off about yourself. And then the third thing is learning the different platforms that exist for you, meeting people in person and then meeting people online, and knowing which of and knowing how to interact with people on these different platforms. I see
Wow.
there's a conversation. There's
Yeah.
a question in the chat. You
So
can.
I think people already dropped their names and what they do.
Hmm. We have
We have
China.
three. He said use me. Okay.
China, the way I ran, don't break your leg. Please, the way I ran into sex, don't break your leg. Please don't break your leg.
So do you want to use Uche now before it shows up on our live chat?
I know. Okay, yeah, so we can I need you to give me more information. I see um Suliat has given us a lot more information, but we can use
Mm,
any of the three
three.
of you.
Okay.
Yeah. Or maybe you decide, Dorcas. Tell me who we should go first.
Uh okay, so I think we can go with Juliet. Since she
Suliat, okay.
give us more details.
Oh, okay. So Julia, to say you're a tech enthusiast, you're a web developer in training and a student, right? Okay. So if you're looking to build your personal brand, what are some of the things that you like about yourself? We are at the self-acceptance stage, right? What are some of the things you're willing to do, some of the things you're not willing to do online, offline, in person? I want you to, if you like, you can put it in the chat. You can join us on the live. Or I don't know if Dorcas is up for that, but we can do that, right? So if you're looking to build your personal brand, do you want to build it around the fact that you're a tech enthusiast, or you want to build it around the fact that you're a web developer in
Web
training?
developer.
I say that if you choose the web developer in training, that would be a great way to begin, because then you can share your own unique experience being a web developer in training. Okay, so you say, for example, I I grew up, so I'm going to use a bit of my own life situation as example, just to give it more context. So let's say my name is Suliat. I grew up in a middle class family. I'm the first of five kids. I've seen how tech is becoming a big thing these days. So, and I've always been playing around with tech, right? So I'm deciding to go into this tech or web development training for myself, so that I can do better for myself and do better for my family. That is in essence who you are, right? Now, you as a person, there are some things that are unique to you. If you are applying to jobs, you say that, okay, for me, even though I'm a tech enthusiast, I like to meet people, I like to see people. And so if I'm applying for jobs, I want to have jobs that I can meet people or have or work in a team situation. So if I'm posting online, if I'm posting online, or I'm interacting with people and I'm telling people this is the stage of life I'm in, these are some of the things I'll be telling them. Okay. And to prove to them I'm really serious about this tech thing, I'm going to use my personal brand. So when you come online, you see that the content I post is talking about new tech tools that I am learning. I'm reviewing tech tools, or I'm even talking about a day in my life navigating a new tech tool that I found, or a day in my life interacting with other tech enthusiasts, a day in my life as a firstborn child, encouraging my young siblings to also be passionate about tech. There are some days you even share about, in the space of authenticity, there are some days you even share your own challenges and your own struggles. Like, yeah, you enjoy being a tech enthusiast, but tech tools and tech gadgets are not cheap, and
Yeah.
you don't have the money to buy them. So you share your struggles, and this is both in person and online. So when you're meeting people, these are things you have accepted about yourselves. When you're talking about them, you're like, yeah, this is me. Like I like spending my money on food, but so I'm not able to save to buy these gadgets. But this is something I'm working on, and you accept it. It's fun. It's nice. It's something people can relate to. And when they're engaging with you, you're like, oh, you remember that lady who said she's a tech enthusiast. She was telling me she loves amala too, but obviously the money you used to buy for amala cannot buy you MacBook Pro Max Pro, my MacBook Pro, right?
Wow.
So you have all these different information. You're bringing that online, and you're bringing people along with you on your journey to becoming this fully fledged web developer. Okay, now these are all technical fields, but the catch is once you bring your own flair to telling your story, to sharing your journey, or even sharing your career aspirations, you get that people who resonate with this on different levels will start following your story and start wanting to engage with you. Very soon, you see people you recommending that, oh, you said your laptop broke. You don't have money to buy laptop. I have a spare laptop. Do you want it?
Do you
Oh,
mind?
there's this hackathon happening. Would you want to go? Then you see people, because you've built this reputation, both online and in person, with all these interests and who you are, the embodiment of your personality and everything. Once they see all these opportunities, you come to mind. Once they see all these things that they feel support you, you come to mind. So does that make sense? So
Wow.
yeah, those are some ways to do it.
So, Mojupe, do you want to let us know if you found that useful? And though I actually think that it was very relatable and it was really practical, right?
To do
What did you
it,
say?
I
Okay,
think we
say
should
it
do
again.
Uchena.
What did
I
you
think we
say?
should do I think we should do Uchena. Can you hear me?
Uchenna. Yes. Uchenna, we're about to use you. Okay. So Uchenna says she's a graphic designer. Do you want to give us more details?
I
Okay.
think for a graphic designer, you want to really share what exactly inspires you to do graphic design. I have graphic design because it's lucrative. It brings money. You
Yeah.
are not ashamed about it. I have graphic design because you genuinely love seeing beautiful things come together. Or you're a graphic designer because you're just good at it. Whatever it is, if you're honest about it with yourself, it can then direct you on how you can interact with people or even show up both in person and online. Okay, so if you say, okay, I'm doing graphic design because it's lucrative, but then I'm also somebody who loves to impact people. I'm also somebody who loves to teach people. How do I combine the two? Right? Do I want to volunteer to teach people and share why it's important for us to use graphic design
Designs.
to impact the next generation? Can we use graphic design to inspire the love of art
Yeah.
in other people? And why? Why should we even care that you want to use graphic design to impact people? That's when you tell us a bit about yourself, that this is my story. I grew up. I'm going to tell random stories here because I don't have enough info, right? You say, okay, when I was growing up, I had this ambition of becoming a medical doctor. It all was going well. I even went to medical school. And then one day I went to visit my grandma in Lagos or in Abeokuta, and we're having a conversation. She was telling me how she loves certain colors, and I used to wonder, the colors she loves make no sense. They don't look nice. Like, why would she decorate her house in a certain way, or why would her church design certain things in a certain way? And that's when you realize you have an eye for design, but you didn't pay close attention to it until school.
That
You
experience.
are putting together an end of school event. You have to put together a design, and the story can go on and on and on and on, and you can expand that story in a way that brings on other people to be passionate about graphic design the way you are passionate about graphic design, right? The crux of all these different examples I'm giving is this: no matter what you're passionate about, no matter what you're so driven to achieve in this world, there's a way you can tell other people about it in a way that brings them on board to support you and to bring you to your next opportunity. And even if it's not necessarily for your next opportunity, it's just so that another person can see you and find you as an inspiring story, then they can also emulate for them. Does that make sense? So these are all some of the examples I've given. By having a personal brand, you have a framework on how you want to use all these different things I've talked about to now go on to your next level. Yeah.
Wow, wow, wow. Okay, Modupeola Peju says, yes, she said she found it very useful. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Right, so I want to chip in something really quick. At Mindshift Business Solutions, if you just check our profile, right, you see that there's a link to a free ebook, right? It's totally free for personal branding. So you might want to check that out and also follow us and also follow Mostel Marketing and Diana, right? You still have to tell us a bit about what you do at Mostel so that people also get to know the brand and also associate with you and what you do. So I want to go off a little bit. You first mentioned Amala. I was quiet. And then you mentioned Abeokuta. I was like, no way. Come on. Come on.
No,
How come you
I know
know
where you're
these things?
going.
Have you been to Abeokuta? Have you eaten Amala? I just had to
No,
ask. I'm
no,
so sorry. I just had to ask you that question
no.
because how?
I I have too many stubborn Nigerian friends in my life.
Ha.
Like they're carrying your flag everywhere. So I guess you're doing a good job. They are
Wow.
very stubborn about Nigeria. Everything Nigeria. I'm like, okay, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah. That's how come I know these things. Yes. Yes.
Was actually supposed to wrap up pretty soon. So, have you had Nigerian jollof before?
Wow, are we doing this? I thought this train left. Are we still on this train? I've left that train. You know, I can't deny my country. And even if I couldn't deny, I don't tell lies.
Mm. Mm.
I don't tell lies.
Okay.
Okay, the best jollof
Okay.
is red, gold, and green with a black star in the middle. That's
Okay.
yeah.
Let people in this on this live cast, please let us know what you
Please
think.
don't come
Let us
for
know.
me.
Uche is saying, are we doing
Exactly.
this here? We
Shit.
can.
I don't understand. This was going so well until they want to sack me. Oh.
Uche says there's no referee. Okay. It's fine.
I
It's fine. It's
I
fine.
know.
Okay.
Oh my
So I
word.
think that for a lot of people, there's a conflict between, oh, should I do LinkedIn or should I do Instagram? So,
Yeah.
what do you have to say for anyone here that actually wants to start building their personal brand? Which of these platforms would you advise them to either start from or focus more on?
Yeah. Yeah. So when you're building a personal brand, I want you to think about the platforms and what these platforms require. Okay, so
Okay.
we've talked about in-person interactions,
Yeah.
and then we are talking about online interaction. The thing about online is that the advantage is you can reach a lot more people at once.
Mm.
So if you're not even somebody who's looking to even post a lot of content and do too much online, you still need to clean up your online house
Mm.
at least. That's the least. I wouldn't advise that, but at least clean up your online house. Okay.
Okay.
And you need content to do that. That is the three thing. You need content to do all of that. And so when you think about your own content style, what's your strength? Are you somebody who can write? Are you somebody
Mm.
who can speak? Or you're somebody who can speak on camera? They're three different things, right? And I've done a video on this on my YouTube, like how to even determine your content style. If you're somebody who writing is so easy for you, then you want to stick with platforms that make it easier for you to reach people through your writing.
Okay.
LinkedIn is one example. Facebook is still active these days. You still find some
Yeah.
good reach. Um, Even X is also good because you can write and interact with people. So that's it, right? The second about being able to speak. Are you somebody who wants to just do audio? You just want to speak into a mic and call it a day. You don't want anybody to see you. Then you can think about podcasting. So
Podcast.
even in podcasting, you can decide to have your own podcast or clean up your online profile in a way that you can start applying for people to, not applying, pitching yourself for people to invite you on podcasts to be sharing all these things. Now, I must say that this second level of going on podcast, it really helps if you already have a good online presence, whether on LinkedIn or Instagram.
Yeah.
You can People can only invite you to come speak when they have enough content of you online to use to assess if you fit on their platform or not,
Not.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then the third is video. I somebody who's very comfortable on video. You might not be comfortable on video, but you're open to be comfortable on video. So it's something I like, okay, I'm open to trying new things. I don't mind being on video. Then Instagram, YouTube works. And then obviously if you want to be, I mean, if you're happy to come on video, I would like to think you're also happy to share pictures of
Yeah.
yourself online.
Yeah.
That also happens. That also is facilitated on these picture focus or video focus platforms, right? So it depends on really your style. What content style are you most comfortable with? Begin with what you are most comfortable with today, and then build on it as you try other platforms.
Wow. This last sentence is it for me, right? Begin with
Yeah,
what you're most comfortable with today.
yeah,
Emphasis on today. So far,
yeah.
let's know how useful this has been. What is that one thing that stood out for you, and what would you be applying once you once we end this live chat? So Diana, can you tell us a little bit about what you do at Musel Marketing and how people can
Yeah,
find you online?
yeah. Um, so I help busy executives manage their personal and professional brands. I also help um, a few businesses with their business brands as well. So usually the thing I do with personal brands is when I work with executives, I try to understand what inspired their career, what they are looking to achieve going forward, and how do we use these online platforms to just bring them the visibility they need, right? And then we also talk about, apart from that, are you thinking of monetization? Are you thinking of making money as you're making impact, right? Those are some of the conversations I have with senior executives and other young professionals as well. I am very passionate about first gen professionals. If I haven't said that already, first gen professionals are, the people who are like the first in their families to have gone to university, to have an office job. The struggles, I am one of those people. So you can see that the struggle we have is different from the
Yeah.
struggle other people whose parents have been working in the civil service and offices for a long time, right? So I'm very passionate about this group of young professionals. So with these people, like that's why I choose to call them unconventional leaders, right? So with Mosel Marketing, I help them tell their stories. I help them amplify their impact. I help them get over all their emotional hurdles and mental hurdles to really see and fight, well, to see beyond their imposter syndrome and really tell their stories because their stories are so important. And then with businesses, I support businesses as well with their branding. I mean, I'm really big on authenticity as well. So be real with your customers. Be very transparent with your customers. So that's what I try to push with the businesses I support. So that's a bit about Mosel Marketing. You can follow me on my Instagram. I also have a YouTube channel. We can have conversations on how I can help you tell your story as well. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Thank you so much for this has been a lot. We need to revisit the Jollof conversation maybe after today.
No way. No.
So we have some feedback in the chat box. Okay, many people are large sharing what she has been able to pick. Begin with what you're comfortable with today, of course. That is also something huge for me. Boo Boo Zima says this has been insightful. Thank you for sharing about authenticity and doing what's comfortable for me. Actually, I think being comfortable in your own skin, virtually, digitally,
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
really important. That way you
Yeah.
won't get burnt out. Right.
Yeah. And it can be
So
very hard. It can be very hard.
yes.
Yeah, we must admit it can be very hard because we've learned from other people for so long
Mm-hmm.
and we've trained ourselves to behave in a certain way every single time. So
Mm.
just allowing ourselves to just exist can be
Yeah.
difficult.
Yeah.
But if you want to use personal branding as your framework to do that,
Mm.
it's one of the most important things you do for yourself. You
Mm.
thoroughly enjoy it. So, and in a way that you can still please society if you want to, but then you're
Yes.
not doing it that you you are constantly having to pretend and to
Mm.
perform, which is not relevant in today's day and age. So I just had to put that there. It's
Yeah.
not easy. It's a journey, but if you're committed to doing it, you end up enjoying it. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your time tonight. I don't know if anyone has questions for Diana. So while we wait to see if anybody has questions, right? Like I mentioned earlier, my Chief Business Solutions on our profile, you would find a link to downloading a free ebook on personal branding. You're seeing that we're doing a lot of free things. This is because we are out to empower individuals, we're out to empower businesses. We actually focus on ensuring that people are able to be represented really well online. So just I don't want to say in line with some of the things Diana said, right? We focus on people. Though we focus on the businesses, we also focus on the people behind those businesses. So in case you're looking to start conversation, you need handholding, right? We have an initiative called Brand Shift 360. So just like the name sounds, brand shift. You want to move your brand from 0, 5, 10, 20, even 50, right? To I don't want to say 100, but yes, we have a track record of that. So make sure that you follow us today. Make sure that you stick to our page, our website. Just give us a call, send us a DM. And just so you know, this masterclass is going to be monthly. I'm hoping that everybody will be excited. Right? Excuse me. It's going to be monthly. So May we are also going to be having a live conversation here on the 23rd of May. We're going to be getting all of the details about our speaker really soon. So make sure you follow us, make sure that you stay connected. So before we wrap up, okay, we should wrap up in the next 2 minutes. Diana, what three things? So I'll just say three action steps, right? For anyone that wants to live here and wants to execute or implement all of these things they have been able to learn today. Can you give? I'm trying to see if you understand what I'm trying to. So three
Yes.
action steps,
Yeah.
yes, three tips for anyone that wants to move here and start moving.
Yeah. So the three things I tell my clients to do, and I'm going to give it to you for free. Okay. The first thing is go and create a vision board of what you want your personal brand to look like. Actually, don't even think about it as what you want your personal brand to look like. Craft a vision board for what you want your life to look like. Put it together, and then once you are done, do an audit of where you currently are and say, okay, I want these things, but this is where I am. What should I start changing? How should I start appearing? How should I start behaving? How should I start talking, right? And then the last is execute. It is all well and good to sit here with us for the past 1 hour, to
Yeah.
come listen and have these different conversations and all these ideas coming. But if you do not execute, it would all be it would all have been a waste. We would have
Yeah.
wasted each other's time. Okay. So one, create a vision board so that it's visual, you can see it. Two, audit yourself between what you have and where you stand, what can change, and whatever change you have, make sure to execute on them. And execution is where mind shifts comes in, like Dorcas mentioned. If you're struggling to start executing, you can reach out to Mindshift or even to us at Mosel, and we can help you do that. But if you're having
Yeah.
challenges, speak to someone, speak to an expert to help you execute, because that's where the change begins. So those are the three things I want to leave you with.
Amazing, amazing. Create a vision board, do an audit, and execute. Thank you so much, Diana, for your time out with us tonight. It's been mind blowing for me personally, and I'm
Thank you so
sure everyone that has joined so far can say one or two things about that. So, just in case you have feedback, you're watching this when it's not live, you can also leave a comment, right? You're catching up with this video, you can leave a comment. You have questions, you can also share questions with us, and we would reach out to Diana to give us feedback on your questions. So Diana, thank you
Thank
so
you
so
so much.
much.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed this, and I would really love to hear what your thoughts are. Yeah, give
Yes.
us a testimonials if this was also useful to you. That would be a good push for mind
Yes.
shift to continue bringing this to you. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you, thank you. Please let's okay, I can already see people clapping. Thank you so much, Diana. Till we see
See
you
you.
next time. I'm
Yes.
hoping that is very soon. Oh, somebody just joined us. Thank you for joining us, but we are wrapping up. You can catch up on this replay just after we are done.
Yeah. Okay.
It's bye for
Bye,
now, guys.
everyone. Bye.
Bye.